This is the first attempt actually finding a fan on the street. This is not easy.
Yeah,
I'll leave it at that. That is not easy. Good attempt, though, Middlecott. Good attempt. Good to see you on the show. You have a lot of talent. So, X7 Bifrost, big one. 2 teams looking for playoffs. Obviously, X7 can still make 4th seed, which will put them in safety net, I guess, by not being picked. But what can you expect from this one? Because this is like a trailer of our playoffs. No, let's start with you. Oh, maybe you. Yeah, there you go.
I think this is a realistic matchup we could end up seeing, right?
Yeah.
I think when you consider, like, I mean, I'm not going to say who finishes 3rd, right? But between Astralis, X7, Bifrost, I feel like, whoever's in 3rd is probably going to be relatively inclined to pick Astralis. IMO, I feel like...
Nobody want to say, I'm going to say it. I'm not ashamed of it. So Riddle will end in 3rd. They'll pick Astralis, which means X7
would end up playing Bifrost.
Yeah.
And I think that's a relatively reasonable assumption to me. I feel like in a best of, if there's any, like, you want to avoid X7 if you know they're not finishing, like, X7 are the team to avoid. Bifrost are kind of the team that, like, if on their day they're going to be as strong as X7. And then to me, Astralis are kind of like that middle ground of, I'm not saying they can't be as good as the other 2 teams, but I don't think they're the most threatening looking in a best of. So this is a realistic matchup that we could end up seeing, just because of
if we do get this matchup, we're talking about hope from spring from one side to the other. These were the 2 teams representing NLC at EU Masters, since we're only allowed to take 2 teams, by the way. Let's look into the bot side. Attila versus Odie, 2 massive stars for these 2 teams. Attila has been a monster ever since Viking has joined. What can we expect from him today? And even Odie.
I mean, I expect him to be on the rise. Like, as you say, when Viking comes in, a facilitating jungler who plays towards the bottom side, this is exactly what we want to see from Attila. We want to see him be dominant. Odie on a kind of different path of his career, so to say. It's a lot earlier, but he has been showing up. He's been very versatile. Been very excited to see him play. His Aphelios has also been very good. So both of them, extremely strong. I expect to be played towards the bot side in this match.
Aphelios has just been buffed, and you played that so much on the previous split, on this one as well. On summer split, kind of gone, but now he can come back. This should be the pick for the Odie. You believe that is the pick for the Odie, or is the Lucian?
No, I think the Aphelios. I think when you're playing into X7, I mean, actually, I think there's 2 avenues. I think you could go. I think you could go Lucian Nami simply because I think there's very fair criticism for Attila and Kasing's early laning phase. So picking a strong duo, like to try and put them in the dirt early, definitely very valuable. But I think going Aphelios, you're still very capable of playing out 2v2s, but you also get a much more consistent scaling avenue through the Aphelios, and you can obviously also build compositions around it as well.
Jamara, start the champion select. It was good. It was good. It was good. Kind of delayed, but it's good. It's good. It's good. X7 versus Bifrost. X7 still looking for that 3rd seed. It's going to be a difficult one. They're looking realistically for that 4th one. And maybe this could be the matchup we get into playoffs. This is only a best of 1. So this is like a sneak peek. This is an opening for the menu as Bifrost will take on X7. The unstoppable X7 ever since Viking joined in. They never lost a single game. Keep that in mind as we look into this one. Belveth, Wukong, maybe they take away the volley bet as well on the 3rd one and force.
It's very much looking like it. It's looking like they have their priorities set for their first pick and they just want to remove the... Oh, but there's another target ban. So three target bans here against Odie and Diamondprox, which is a good way to go about it. You're removing enchanters for Bifrost and a Draven. And let's see what is the first priority, because a lot of things are open here for X7.
Volley.
Yeah, I mean, so sure, Volibear's up, but I'm also looking towards the Zeri up and available. The Kalista with the Draven ban is also something that spikes to mind immediately, whilst Odie doesn't necessarily strike me as, like, big-time Kalista play. It's not like he can't play it. Like, so I think makes sense that we're seeing this Zeri come in as the first pick. Now I wonder if Diamondprox is going to give us a Poppy game, because still not seen Poppy today. Poppy's open, and I'll tell you right now, is definitely in his wheelhouse in terms of his gameplay style. So we'll have to wait and see whether we actually get it out of Bifrost, though. Odie leaning back towards the center, so we're probably going to get the Disarm Kench alongside it immediately, and now X7 have the opportunity to try and pair up this Zeri with something that you know, gives it a whole bunch of additional scaling. Lulu is the first thing that comes to mind. Seraphine's up, but I don't necessarily expect it to get locked in here. Renata, though, when you're trying to buff up Zeri and give her a late game, or a stronger late game rather, is definitely where you would like to go in X7 now. Probably off the back of this. Looking towards Vikings pick if I had to make a guess.
That's what I was very surprised with the Tam lock-in already, seeing as you could just
Switch
counter
a
the...
room?
Okay. I mean, I'm very surprised that they don't lock in the Renata, but it's a very good matchup into the Tam. So we should be seeing that. Yeah, and we do.
Yeah, you just hold it on. Like, okay, we're going for
Yeah.
the Renata, but let's pick the Talia first. We already have what it's supposed to be, the jungler. It's like 90% sure this is going to be the jungler. As a Diamondprox, how can you look into this one? Volibear is also open. He has been picking that one non-stop. Beauty, my boy, I know I love you, man. But you're not gonna pick it though. I know.
There you go.
Now
Covering it.
finally get the
Finally
Poppy.
we get the Poppy. Yeah, champion's broken. Don't know what to tell you. We'll get more into it. Even into Talia, it's all right. Like, I think people will definitely like tunnel vision onto the whole like AP jungler into Poppy kind of thing. With Talia, it's slightly different because for her, it's more about like reacting to ganks post level 6, or if she's got lane set up very early on, actually attacking those lanes. Whereas Poppy is more like go from the immediate. So I think for Bifrost now, it's about setting up strong lanes for Poppy to actually play around. The Senatom Kench into Zeri and Renar early on is definitely one that Diamondprox can look to go and attack. But I'm looking towards, you know, the likes of Shikari. Are we going to get, you know, a real setup top laner here, or are we just going to see the likes of a default Narb line just because you want to give Fury something strong and powerful to play around with in terms of a counter pick into Tempt?
Obvious. So far, this is interesting champion select, I would say. Both teams are playing to their strengths. What do you believe it could be facilitated for these two compositions right now? We have 3 out of 3. What do you believe could be facilitated for both of the teams?
I mean, right now for, what's it called, Bifrost, I'm very much looking for an offensive mid lane pick. The Ahri is out, the Silas is out. These are both two very good bans. So I'm very curious what we'll be seeing here. I'm not really sure what the mid lane pool is looking like. You definitely want an AP mage, because I'm not sure if... Oh, that is probably not happening. You definitely want an AP mage, because I'm not sure how many AP top laners Shikara really has in his champion pool. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
And this is a flex. It could go for Shikari, it could be for Fury. We've seen Fury popping with this, but Shikari has done it as well.
Yeah, and I mean, how many times have we, like, pleaded with Bifrost to give us Fury on agency champions? Obviously, like you said, it's a flex. Last spring, we saw a lot of Shikari on the Akali as opposed to like these sort of weak side picks. So very excited to maybe see Fury on this one. But with the Akali maybe getting locked in, with the Gnar getting locked in rather, if I recall correctly, Akali was a pick that kind of ran into the Gnar every now and again as a bit of an answer into it. Just being able to assassinate the mini Gnar so easily. Whether or not Bifrost are willing to like flex that into the top side, because then you would be effectively losing a lane of priority, I think that's definitely very risky. And I also think X7 could maybe happily go Lissandra here, and then they would have set up to deal with the Akali in the mid lane, then they'll have Prio in the top side, and that'll give them Prio in both solo lanes with a Talia to then move down towards the bottom side. It seems like, though, instead, we're going to get Viking on a Hecarim lock-in, which is definitely a pretty out there one for the meta that we're in at the moment. We'll see how he gets going on the early game, though, right? Because you want to get to that level 6 as soon as possible. I think he's got the lane matchups at the moment to do it. Gnar should almost always give him prior into most matchups up and available that Shikari is likely to go into this game with, and Talia into that Akali should almost guarantee give him priority. So he's got 2 lanes of priority to work off of Viking. We'll see how quickly he can get up to level 6 and how effective he can be on that one as Gangplank gets locked in for Shikari as well. So very team fight orientated, team composition from Bifrost, kind of what we expect. Definitely a little more out there on some of these picks from X7 in terms of seeing this Hecarim. We'll have to see how it actually gets going, though. I think into Poppy, it could be very rough if Bifrost ever find brief windows of priority to try and lock it down.
It's very scary for Bifrost here, though, with 3 lanes of priority on X7. With the Hecarim, Hecarim can have fun this game. He can have a lot of fun. So
But Poppy can block him.
Poppy can
least
block
for
the
the E.
last part of the E, that's true, but he can still run through her and still knock back. So it's not as effective as you would hope it to be. And once he hits the 6, he obviously just has the ulti.
Give me those
will not be
predictions,
blocked.
obvious.
So I have to go X7 here.
X7, what about you, Jamala?
I'm going to go Bifrost.
okay, this could be the tiebreaker.
Yeah, no, I think Bifrost have a little more scaling to their composition than face value would probably give. And I think especially Shikari has a pretty okay window here to actually have a really good game. And not only that, Fury's on Akali.
I love it.
Simple as that. There is no more analysis of than Fury is on Akali.
What about you, chat? What do you believe? Who do you think is going to win? Type it on the chat, just spam it away, and make our mod's life a living hell as we toss it to the casters for the 4th game of the day. Take it away, boys.
Yes, finally! Fury is on Akali, baby! Bring in the fireworks, because we've seen literally everyone and their dogs play Akali in this meta except for Fury. Fury is a huge assassin player, and I cannot reiterate, a year ago in the NLC, his Akali was feared and permabanned. Now, I'm getting so much pleasure seeing this guy, not just pulling out his Akali, but pulling out the Akali versus Tempt's Talia, who has been a terror on the Rift.
Absolutely. Tempt's been right up there as one of our potential best mid laners in the league. I know you've been favouring Backland. Tempt's been phenomenal as well, putting some great numbers on the champion. It's very powerful right now, but Fury's Akali is a thing of legends. On the other side, though, it's some very different drafts, and I think both have pretty good win conditions.
Yeah, I feel like both of these teams are playing a very clear game. When it comes to Bifrost, and as we're about to jump straight into the Rift for X7 versus Bifrost, talking about Bifrost, they also have their own blueprint.
They do.
And when we have the interview with Highway, he said, you know what? We are done trying different playstyles. We have found the one that works for us, and we're gonna continue going at it. And if we're looking down the bot lane, it's the Senna Tam Kench, and it's Odi on the Senna, arguably the best Senna that we have in the NLC. And if it works, do not try to switch it up. Fury finally on his Akali. Diamondprox on a facilitating jungler like the Poppy, and of course Shikari on his infamous scaling picks like the Wentz, like the Gangplank. So again, the blueprint for Bifrost has been set.
And there are so many narrative threads in this game. X7 versus Bifrost last split was a battle for our who was going to be our first split as first seed at EU Masters. Both kind of fell off in the summer and have kind of started to recover a little bit, and we've got ourselves a little bit of a level 1 scuffle in this 3v3, but thus far it's been Bifrost have come out on top and got a bit of a chunk of Viking, but it's early enough to see maybe a reset, but I think Viking will just have to take that health damage and leave it at that. And
to give a little bit of a backstory between the teams, since you started it, Bifrost in regular split was one of the only teams to be able to 2-0 X7 in spring in regular split. When it came to playoffs, X7 beat Bifrost in best of 5s twice. They did not give them any air to breathe. It was rough. Bifrost ended up finishing second. Both of these teams that you're seeing on your screens right now with the 2 NLC representatives for spring, both making quarter-finals.
We're seeing both matched jungle starts here, both starting leashless on the Raptors, using their AoE abilities to clear out those camps and continue on the game. And there have been some questions a little bit, especially in the pre-show, saying, well, what happens if some of these early ganking, diving junglers get taken away from Diamond? What happens to Bifrost? Because it really needed that go button, that dive button on the jungler to make things work.
Listen, there's only 3 things that are certain in life. I've said this before. This is German taxis, death, and Diamondprox ganking your lane between level 2 to 4.
There is a bit of that, and he's got a champion to do it, and Poppy is right up there as potentially the strongest champion in the game. Owner for T1 put a blanket statement out saying, yeah, Poppy is just that strong. She is the strongest champion in the game, and Diamond's going to have that one here, and he's going to see what he can do with it.
I think it's pretty blind pickable, right? Because a lot of the times when they say, okay, Trundle works versus Poppy, sure, he can steal the defenses away with the ultimate, but think about it. He creates yet another wall with the pillar. You can use a lot of the times that pillar to your advantage to even pin the Trundle on that wall and get him closer towards your team.
I created the rock in the hard place of my own creation.
Exactly, right? So even though, yes, Trundle is pretty good traditionally into any tank you want to put him against due to his ultimate, I think Poppy can create scenarios of her own when walls are being built around her.
With Fury taking a bit of an ugly trade there from Tam, landed a nice seismic shove, and there is a lot of priority right now for X7, and that has been a bane of Bifrost's early game when they have lost games, is low priority leading to jungle invades, at least a very low game, as Odie has to flash away on that Senna. The flash down the Ignite traded by Kasing.
Okay. That was a little bit of a sassy backup move from Odi. He overextends, ends up getting completely punished by Kasing's Renata right there. And let's say it as it is. Akali into Taliyah stinks. The matchup is very Taliyah favored. You get to shove in the lane over and over again. As you mentioned, priority mid lane is huge, especially when you're playing Hecarim and you want to be shuffling through your jungle, clearing until you're level 6 to pull out that first gank. Top lane is going to be not favored in the early until that gangplank can actually scale later on into the game. Bifrost had actually managed to get a push for themselves down the bot lane until Odi overstepped and lost his summoner. So that one lane that Bifrost had to play through has actually been negated.
Just a little bit. Of course, if you can get to level 6 with this composition, very difficult, even with the priority, to fully punish because the Cannon Barrage will come down, the Dawning Shadow will come down, you've got a Poppy to come and knock people away if they're in the right position.
Ooh.
Tried to Shuriken flip out of that one, but didn't quite make it work. Fury takes even more damage, and see what Viking can get done with the Hecarim, who's going to have a free time to scale with this priority. If nothing else, he does get this invade up, but he's not going to find too much.
Actually, Viking has been looking for the dive here and not the invade. He's been hovering around Fury's mid lane tower this entire time.
It was Diamond.
Like a predator. But I feel like also Diamondprox very cleverly hovering around Fury until he clears the entire wave because he knew Fury was going to be under attack for a potential dive. Again, I feel like these are two very strong junglers, especially when it comes to Viking. He's playing very aggressively the early, and because Diamondprox is used to playing aggressively as well, he knows the moves of an aggressive jungler himself. So covering for his mid lane, he knows that Fury is going to have a really bad time into Taliyah, but unlocking the mid lane at level 6, the second you do make contact with Taliyah, you do have a death sentence basically on her too.
That's the idea. And of course, in the mid lane, it's been a little bit of advantage attempt using that range discrepancy, looking to bully, get things on the tower. Fury has had to reset now with that teleport. But Vikings coming around, but Diamond's going to be here as well. What can they get done? This will now be a 2v2. Diamond's here, looking to trade this one now. Flash out of the seismic shove, though, means it's still going to be the summoner advantage to the side of X7.
That's also pretty telegraphed. I didn't think about it because when usually Hecarim charges in, you want to charge past your target, push them towards your team, but that is very telegraphed for a Taliyah knock-up. So you know exactly where they're going to be shoved towards. You can knock them up and perma-CC them. So the Hecarim-Taliyah duo seems to be having a lot more utility than we thought. Diamondprox, though, he's been chased around by a horse.
Yeah, just going to charge his way. I'll just get the ghost out attempt, but won't happen too much. I was going to see whether there was an angle in on that Taliyah. Not going to find too much, and at least manages to get a summon out attempt. He's running that first strike, nothing like the spell book to be able to switch that out for something which we have seen occasionally on our mid lane Taliyahs. By the way, still going to be slight laning advantage to X7 off that priority, but nothing too much more. But Tempt, now going to be spotted. Flash, heroic charge. He's Tempt in a difficult position now. He's flashing away, but he's got very little place to go. In comes the Abyssal Dive, and Tempt about to fall for first blood to Odi Senna.
Oh, very good target to give the kill towards as well. Odi on the Senna wants to scale towards that late game, same as the rest of Bifrost. They managed to catch Tempt onto a roam right there. Easy trigger on the flash from Diamondprox to pin him onto the wall. And not only is this going to net them a kill, but it's also going to give them a dragon. The first one of the game is going to be an Inferno. 2 more souls on Odi's Senna. 1 kill as well. If we see this again, Tempt on a pretty quick roam towards the bot side of the map. He gets caught by Diamondprox right there. He knows Fury is coming from the top side of the map, but also Bifrost bot lane is coming from the bot side of the map as well. And since he's used his flash to get inside the pit, there is no way out.
No, and while you had control of the river, you did not have control of the bushes just beyond it, and Poppy's engage range is so long. Great little punish there, well read by Bifrost. It gets him the early Drake. All the while, though, Shikari got a little bit caught out trying to push the wave in topside, did have to flash out. So that will be something, and Viking does take this opportunity on Diamond's reset to get a hold of the red buff and try and take their way. Now at level 6, potentially a deadly combo available.
And very importantly, Vikings camps are towards the top side of the map. Chrome, Wolves, Blue is going to be coming up really soon. He's going to take the Scuttle. He's going to take Tempt. They can actually roam towards the top side of the map. If you look at the wave right now, it is slow pushing towards chasing. Means Shikari might have to overextend.
He's just dead to rights. He knows it. He's going to throw down a Cannon Barrage and try and get some health bar down, but not too much more available. Tanking up pretty well here, but does eventually fall. kill on the board for X7, who do punish Shikari being just too far up. But now, Bifrost just hanging around here in this river to see whether they can catch someone in rotation. In fact, they're just going to go for an invade here instead.
You know what they say? What goes up must come down. So they saw 3 members of X7 going towards the top side of the map. They're like, surely these guys are going to walk down the river, right? But they're not. Very clever for X7. They're going to take their backs. They're going to cash in on the goal they just made out of Shikari. And Bifrost are going to take this time from the reset of X7 and try to start that Rift Trail. Mind you, Highway has stayed down the bot lane. He does have teleport to TP into the mid lane tower, possibly, if he wants to be a part of this fight. But there is no ultimate for Temp to break this fight apart.
He's very low, and Viking does have an ult. Diamondprox using the Hex Flash to try and force Viking away. Does, of course, have the Keeper's Verdict to knock people out of this fight. May need to do so. Remember, Shikari, no Cannon Barrage. Definitely keep things pretty weak. Throws down the Keeper's Verdict. Misses. Wild. Now going to be a trade out. Going to be taken, I have no idea by who. Diamond, pretty low. I don't think it's going to be secured by either. Looks like it was X7's, and they do get the kill and the Herald.
And the teleport from Highway, a very late teleport in the mid lane tower, wasn't there in time to devour Diamondprox and save him from harm's way. X7 are running away with that early game. 2-0 right now on another was already bullying Shikari's Gangplank in lane. You get that Rift Trail potentially can open up that bot lane side of the map. So that Senna has to actually move away from the bot lane and through away from the comfort of a tower, which puts her in a lot of danger. And then suddenly you're going to have your either your Gangplank or your Akali in the side lane with no tower, and then it's going to be pretty easy ganks for the Hecarim. So really well done right here from X7, securing pretty much anything they went for on the top of the map. The kill, the Herald, then another kill.
Yeah, nice sequence of plays. Of course, the Herald not on the best target necessarily, but Chasey can do his best to roam around the map and find a space to drop it all the same. And it is just those 2 kills, that lead in the top side, and of course, Viking using the couple moments he had on those resets to get a little bit of a lead over this Poppy as well, who's now potentially going to get jumped on, but will throw down the Steadfast Presence, goes berserk, now charging away and stays alive. That's actually quite a lot popped there by X7, and they just can't kill off the Poppy.
Yeah, that was 2 ultimates expended right there. Plus Ghost, plus Flash, plus Ignite from Kasing and Viking. That was 3 Summoners and 2 ultimates for 1 Poppy Flash right there from Diamondprox. Really good stuff from the Bifrost jungler to actually get away. What do you get out of this? Not really much. Everybody has resorted back into their jungle. You see that the bot lane for Bifrost keeps pressuring. Odys, Senna, paired up with Tam Kent is one of the strongest bot lanes that we have in the NLC. I cannot reiterate how strong this guy Senna is. He's one of the most talked about Sennas in the NLC, if not the entirety of ERLs. And being given the opportunity to play the champion, not only that, being given a kill very early on, extra souls from the Dragon as well. The second he got his flash back up, you see how that bot lane keeps perma-shoving now. 3 versus 3 towards the bottom of the map. Fury coming as well.
Viking is here, so this will be a 3v3. There might be a Cannon Barrage available. They're going to throw down the Keeper's Verdict to knock away the Hecarim. All the while on the top side, you're going to see the Herald has been summoned by Chasey while Shikari's out of lane. 4 plates secured very swiftly by this Gnar, who is becoming an incredibly large threat.
So unless Chasey can permanently put his lead ahead,
oh, he's attempted right now. Going to get the dive. There's still an orange to eat for Shikari, keeping himself alive. Got a barrel coming up as well. Does get the speed up with it. Bolt toss misses. Tower pretty low, and that means Chasey might just try and take it himself. But with Mini coming up, going to take potentially a trial by fire here. One last wallop goes wide, but the tower down to a very deletable level of HP.
So here's the thing, right? Usually when you put in the Rift Trail towards the top side of the map, if you take the tower, the person who's suffering on the top side of the map is suddenly starting to breathe, because that wave is going to be pushing towards your tier 2, which is really far to overextend for a level 10 Gnar that can very easily get punished right now. So the fact that Chasey has allowed his tower to stay up whilst Highway's getting caught here in the bot lane.
Got Dragon started as well, so there's a little bit of a 2v2 happening up in the river as Highway being chunked out. Hostile takeover comes down and does land onto the Tahm Kench, but not too much done. Diamond down to about 2/3, and they're going to go in! Can't secure the Dragon, though it was very close. What can Fury get done, though? Get stunned, I think, by an Everfrost. Not quite sure what actually stunned him there. Something, anyway. And it'll be the Dragon secured.
He missed his E and he dashed backwards on the rocks. So that's what stunned him right there.
That's what happened. No, it wasn't Everfrost. It was Ego. There's the route.
But yet another neutral objective is going the side of X7. Viking almost found Diamondprox right there.
He gets stunned up though, and that Smite secures the HP. Gonna try and play his way out. If this one does have Ghost, does have ultimate, may need to use one or the other, potentially both. There's the Ghost down. Over the wall he goes, and there's no turret available, and topside has been taken down by X7. Gets the jungler out of danger, but he does have to pop a couple of value cooldowns.
So, all the turret platings went towards Chasey. So unless he can take this now and bleed that lead even further, meaning playing underneath Shikari's tier 2 top lane tower and keep denying him CS and gold, then Shikari can very easily slow push or even freeze the wave, not like he's doing right now, but in next waves to come, he can slow push or even freeze the wave underneath his tier 2, meaning that Chasey will have to overextend, meaning that he's in punishable range from both the Akali and the Poppy going towards the top side of the map. So all eyes on Chasey. He's the guy who has gotten most of the gold of his team. If we can see from the observers as well, how much gold has gone into this Mega now, 6.4k.
There's the gold lead.
2.5 almost up.
Yeah, there's the gold lead. Diamonds coming towards the top side. Shikari taken very low, though. About to fall down. Flash out of the wallop and charged into the wall. There is the cannon barrage doing a lot of work. Flash out from Chasey, but a railgun comes through. And a shutdown with a parlay secures the gold for Shikari.
And look at that. Fury was going towards the top side of the map. Odi gets an assist off of this one. Shikari manages to get the shutdown. So all of these gold that we said was getting accumulated into the Na, if the Na has to overextend for the tier 2 because you use the Rift Herald top lane, then your Na is under huge threat. And this Gangplank getting that gold, Fury maybe even cashing in on the next gank towards the top side of the map, is going to be huge for Bifrost to get back slowly but surely into this game. Mind you, there's a lot of scaling on the Senna, on the Akali, on the Gangplank of Bifrost side. This is the game they've been playing since spring.
Yeah, and look, it's a defensive game. It's where you lose a little bit early, but you know you hit the mid game at a reasonable point. You do so well. Kraken Slayer built for the Senna as well means Odi knows what he's doing. He's been one of our best setters in the league. He's normally up about 1,000 gold,
you know what?
500 XP, showing it in this game.
Honestly, if that was an Umbral Glaive Senna, I wouldn't say no. You have a Gangplank, you have an Akali, you've got damage to deal with here. But the fact that Odd is like, I'm the AD carry here, Kraken Slayer, big HP targets in the likes of Hecarim and the Na need to be taken down. Shikari and they're attacking the top side, but Bifrost...
Highway does end up taking a seismic shove. Just get up, but the hostile takeover comes over and takes Diamond attack. Viking of all people. They're teleporting in and trying to trade this. It will be a Mega Gnar coming towards the tower. And Diamond has got flash, may need to burn it. Odi and Bi and Highway left into the tower. Mega Gnar into the wall. So much damage onto the center, but he's going to get eaten up. Diamond gets a charge onto the wall onto Tempt. Who's trying to trade this one out? Surely about to die. Nightwheel dead quite yet. Viking so left Ultra Shock Laser gets it. And now Attila runs rampant and gets me 2 to X7.
That was way too close for comfort for a 3 versus 5 for Bifrost. There were a bunch of ultimate expended from the side of X7, and if anything, Bifrost will run away with 2 kills and 1 tower towards the bot side of the map. What does Bifrost get in return? Fury has managed to shove in that mid lane tower, nowhere near going down. Shikari has managed to do the same with the top lane tower, nowhere near going down. Trade going in favor of X7. If we see this once again, it's Diamondprox and Highway walking either to B-Fierce members from the sort of Bifrost. Highway will get caught. Not enough damage will go onto him, but a lot of ultimates here are going to get used. The Renata ult, the Hecarim ult, very crucial. But the second that Mega Gnar pulls the trigger to TP in, Bifrost have to run for the heals right here. Odi has the flash to get away from the Mega Gnar, and I'm pretty sure he dodges it right on the side. But the fact that you have Devour there, Diamondprox shoving people onto walls, is just so difficult to catch up. The only thing that Bifrost are missing right now is a lot of their damage, because Gangplank and Akali were on the other side of the map.
Yeah, Akali had to back out trying to trade in the river. And actually that follow-up dive was pretty smart from X7. It gains them more of a gold lead. They're now more in command. And a fair amount there to do it, but they still succeed, and Bifrost definitely wincing a little bit after that attempted escape. Nearly worked, but unfortunately didn't. Cost them a lot of gold.
And now the next objective is going to be in 25 seconds. Ocean Drake. Second dragon for both of these teams. Look at inventories.
Highway.
1 mythic item for everyone.
So much damage this Tom Kench is about to fall, you feel. Gonna get a bit of a knockback onto Viking. The hostile takeover comes through, being used very liberally this game. And either way, they get the kill, and they're going to try and get a mid lane tower as well. The cannon barrage comes down, though, might prevent that from happening too easily. I do think it means, even with the teleport in, I'm not sure how easy it will be for Bifrost to contest as Fury hits a seismic shove into the onslaught of shadows. Over the wall he goes, and he'll survive for now, but that will prevent any real attempt at contesting here. Yes, there are teleports, but it's just not worth it at this point.
Yeah, a lot of missteps right here from Bifrost, instantly punished from the side of X7. Highway missteps, gets punished. Fury missteps, he gets his flash taken away, almost his life. That is a second dragon for X7, stacking them up. Ocean Soul is going to be huge when you're playing against targets like the Gangplank, like the Akali. If you can actually survive the big burst, the healing is going to start coming through from the Ocean Soul. And again, Shikari, not fast enough with the pushes on the top side of the map. Chasey has been using the gold that was inserted into him from that Rift Herald earlier on, and he's been in 4 out of 5 kills. He's willing to pull that teleport to start up fights for his team. He's willing to roam the map, allow his tower to take a bunch of damage so he can be the engaged for his team. Diamondprox.
He's going to be okay. He's got Highway and Odie around. They were thinking about contesting there. Looked a little bit risky for a moment.
There is teleport on Fury as well if he wants to join.
Yeah, but I think they're going to try and take this opportunity to get some structures and get some gold back in inventory. That's costing them quite a bit right now, and I think that's probably wise. They'll lose that second herald, and that will be unfortunate for them, yes, but right now it's the wiser decision. Take this moment maybe to have a hop in and see that one. We've seen that one already. I apologize. There's a better one. Me posting new memes every week. S&G creating the same time to win. Veneer throwing out a little bit of salt there.
In all fairness, Singularity have won a bunch of games this past few weeks.
Yeah. They've been allowed to speak. They're allowed to speak up a little bit. It's always really hard to throw out a lot of memes and stuff when you're in a losing position constantly. It makes it difficult to throw out the banter without people pointing at your record. And they've really improved. They're looking potentially quite dangerous.
This is the best. If you're in the middle of the pack, your memes are not as impactful. But if you're constantly losing, people will know you for it.
That's some good silver line thinking.
Says, bad advertising is also good advertising.
Yes.
It's like, you don't have to be good, you just have to be known.
Diamond uses the steadfast presence there to block the attempted crunch, which was nicely managed, and it's a fight over the Gromp. The invades have come through with the priority as expected. The last one burned Bifrost pretty badly, but this time they'll get out just okay. And probably at this point, we've got to remind ourselves that X7 still not strictly out of the race for that second place. They win the next 2 games, and neither Riddle or XL win on Wednesday, and X7 could find themselves top 2 again. It's a long run, but they could do it.
I'm actually surprised that Bifrost are playing towards the boss of the map. There's almost 3 minutes for the Dragon, and Diamondprox could get caught here. Bifrost are forcing themselves through a choke point versus a Talia and a Gnar. It's going to be really difficult to pivot around, and I feel like if anything, Bifrost should focus here on trying to defend their towers and getting gold onto their carries, the Akali and the Gangplank. Mid lane tower is going to fall from X7, and Tier 2 is under attack. Now that the knock-up is no longer there for X7, Bifrost might look for an engage.
Looking for the flank, though. Mega Gnar about halfway down. Get a bit of a chunk on him. There's a double barrel that comes through and hits a fair chunk of people. Highway hit again. Cannon barrage comes through. Diamond on the side looking for an angle in.
It's a one-man Mega
doing
Gnar.
what they can to hold people back. Chasing down to the mini. So low, not quite taken down. Can't go across. He goes straight across. I take it back. Fury goes golden. Highway devours Shikari. Wrong target. Not what needs to be done, but Fury stays alive. An unfortunate misclick by Shikari will cost Bifrost heavily in this fight.
Okay, X7 are outplaying Bifrost in their own team fight. Oh, this is alive.
As the onslaught of shadows, Highway flashing away. There is a teleport still on Fury. Highway gonna Abyssal dive back and stay alive. Teleport coming back through for Chasey now at full HP.
Fury TP. Where is he gonna TP? There's a bunch of words.
Teleport to that one. Diamond stays alive with the piercing darkness, showing down this mini Gnar. And now actually there's a wall to turn this one around. Lands the shuriken flip, gets a kill, shuts down onto Chasey.
There is very...
Still going through Highway Abyssal dive. He's just having one of those games, unfortunately. So aggressive, but none of it's really worked out the way they want it to.
And honestly, if these fights keep going on for so long, Senna has the advantage. She can keep you at arm's length. And Odie keeps putting down auto attack after auto attack. And yes, now it doesn't hurt as much because he only has that Kraken Slayer on him. But when the Senna actually starts hurting, getting the extra range from the passive souls, it's gonna hurt a lot. And Chasey overextend right here. There's 3 people that get hit from the double barrel, and the knockup only hits Highway, which means Fury gets the gold button to go in. Chasey only with the 1-man ult. And even though Fury is going to connect that E here, he chooses to fly over the rocks. You fly over the rocks, you get stunned for the duration of your dash. Has to burn his hourglass right there. Luckily for him, the burn was not enough to kill him. So he's gonna back and come back with a teleport. Shikari missteps. But you see, the longer these fights go. Attila runs out of mana, Kasing runs out of mana, Viking runs out of damage when he doesn't have his ultimate anymore. And Odi on the Senna is ever so powerful. Diamondprox, with the utility from the Senna as well, managed to get away. That gives enough time to Fury to go back to base, reaching his entire HP bar, and come back in.
Flash keeps the Talia alive there. You see what Highway was looking for. Perhaps I judged him a little harshly. Still, very risky play, doesn't work out, but Bifrost still able to at least trade here, but this game is falling further and further away from their control. This Ocean Drake, long way out of their ability to contest right now. They need really to get a second item in on their carries, and that's just not there yet, really.
Yeah, and as you can see here, Diamondprox is also shadowing Fury, who's pushing towards the top side of the map. He's found himself
behind
three
Attila,
people.
gets the stun.Odi's coming over, cannon barrage afterwards. Big knock-up, actually, and Attila will have the option with the bailout to come through, but Fury into the backside. Going to get onto Kasing, shut down onto the AD carry. Kasing gets a handshake, but not away from the Abyssal dive. All the while now, big charge onto Viking, has to onto the shadows away, but not far enough. Fury gets a kill, 3 dead, Baron alive, and Bifrost are back in it.
Very well done from Diamondprox, shadowing his top lane and shoving in the top lane wave, and then the entirety of Bifrost collapse onto X7, taking a bunch of shutdowns with them, and potentially the Baron. Tempt is alive, Chase is alive. Can they stop the Baron?
What can the Koreans do? Seismic shove, not quite enough, but it will still be finished with Chase's boomerang. Baron still going on, Weaver's Wall coming through. Gonna come in, but Tempt, remember, no flash. Gets taken up by a piercing darkness. Fury goes golden. Railgun, not enough to kill him off. Chasing Meganar into the wall, but there is a Shuriken flip landing onto him alongside a last embrace. There will not quite be enough as a seismic shove shoves them all away. And Bifrost do have to pull off the Baron. The Korean solo laners hold the line.
Man, I cannot take my eyes off of Odi's Senna. The way he's spacing, the way he's moving around the rocks, the way he's moving around the CC, it's absolutely stunning. Again, Diamondprox, he's shadowing the river because Fury is pushing topside. But the second he sees Attila, pins him on the wall, they know that Odi is there as well. That Renata ult almost saved Attila right there because Odi started auto-attacking his teammates, but the fact that Fury manages to get through the backline, you know this is going to be a really rough time for X7. And the second you also assassinate the jungler for X7, you know that now that there's no smite on the map, you can actually start the Baron. Now, there were a lot of things that went wrong here. Shikari gets caught by the knock-up, and Fury does not connect his E on Chasey right before he becomes Megana, which means he doesn't have a way in. Now, look at the footwork from Odi. Steps on top of the rocks, keeps making distance between him and his opponents, stays away enough from Chasey to not get Meganard, keeps putting the damage in, keeps giving the heals, keeps giving the shields. That guy on this champion is stellar to watch.
Indeed it is. The gold lead's still there for X7, but Bifrost still got some teeth, and there's a Rage Blade in to follow up for Odi now, so he's very much online. Highway gets shot back again. Tempt has been hitting all of them this game. The cannon barrage afterwards will be there for a moment, but it's too late really to save the Tahm Kench's life. Well and truly benched over the last few moments in this game.
And now here's the issue, right? Usually when you lose control of your jungle, you need your beefiest member to walk in. Now that beefiest member is the live or die reason of your Senna as well. So once the Tahm Kench goes down, Odi needs to at least have flash to play these fights, and he doesn't. Now Baron is gonna actually get started. Bifrost is sensing this as well. Is Diamondprox gonna be able to get inside the pit? He does have flash, but he's getting poked out by Tempt. Attila is there, Kasing is there. They're not gonna let him in.
He's got Keeper's Verdict, he's got Flash and a Dream. In goes Fury to try and hunt people out. Does some damage, throws down the Shroud as well. Viking pretty damn low, and X7 actually have to pull off. They can't play this slow enough.
Yeah, you can't take the 50-50 because if Diamondprox manages to steal away the Baron right here, you have some pretty strong side lanes. You can put Akali on a side lane with the Baron, you can put Shikari on the gangplank on the side lane with a Baron, and suddenly your tempo starts slowing down because you gave away a lead. With 7,000 gold in the lead for X7, you cannot afford to take the 50-50 on the Baron, so X7 are going to have to look for a pick first and make sure they have the numbers advantage.
95 souls in for OD Senna. He's hitting that critical mass point. Moment you get, I believe the current this is impossible to play against number is 120, where it feels like you're playing against a completely,
shot, right?
Yeah, it's tower shot range, which is pretty damn silly. Gets himself those Berserker's Greaves in now, I believe, as well, so a little bit more space and ability to move around. doing what he can here to be as obnoxious. Diamond managed to catch out Attila before. They're going to try and get onto Kasing here, who was up there alone trying to clear wards. That is a mistake. Flashes to the other side of the Poppy, though, to keep alive. Seismic Shove as a dot is avoided, but the handshake lands all the same. Devour keeps Poppy alive in turn.
And that is crazy, the fact that Tempt on this Thalia can do so much for your team. He can turn an entire 2 versus 3 around.
That's
Viking.
dangerous. He's going to be having to flash out of this wall, you feel. Ultra Shock Laser means he's dead. X7 pick off the Poppy.
And that's it. The smite is off the board. Why did you not do Baron 2 minutes ago? Because Poppy was there, because Diamondprox was there, because he had smite. Now that the smite is off limits for Bifrost, X7 can just run it down for that Baron and not have to worry about a 50-50. Bifrost have a huge task right now because they have to walk through Megana. They have to walk through Renata ult if they want a chance of disrupting this Baron, if they even want to have a chance of disrupting this Baron, or just push down mid lane, push your top lane, push out your waves, and try to go for that priority in the middle, because that next dragon is spawning. It's going to be sold for X7. They haven't yet cashed in on money. Chase is going to cash in. Chase is going to cash in right now.
Barrel comes over the wall. Last Embrace is in there. Chasey does indeed cash in. Poppy now alive.
Oh, he's on the flank.
Very low. May need to be healed up, but Viking gets slowed in turn. Now he's in danger. Chasey to the backside. No Mega Nair available really to him, but doing so much work. This top laner has been a revelation of late. On the other side, though, Poppy manages to get the backside alongside the Akali, but it's got to be not enough. They just don't have the damage. They're too far behind. A valiant attempt at a bit of Bifrost teamfight magic, but Chasey and the rest of X7 are just too strong.
And X7 have been reincarnated. X7 have been reinvented. Viking has not faced a single defeat in the NLC summer season, bringing in yet another one in his books, the Hecarim. This X7 seems to be in form. This X7 looks like the #1 seed we had in spring.
Shikari will be hunted down. X7 move to 11-6, and X7 still live on in hope of a top 2 finish. Excel and Riddle must win on Wednesday, or X7 may still be able to repeat their spring split abilities. Decent Dawning Shadow will buy some time. It's a good knock-up, and have X7 played too much with their food, you have to begin to worry that Nexus solo just finished the game, X7. There it is. You had a moment there with that 4-man knock-up that I began to wonder just briefly.
Come on. They were literally toying with their foods right there. They're like,
and I've seen X7 throw those.
It's like, maybe let's perk up our KDAs now that we're at it. You know, now that we're 15k ahead and not your Nexus, which is literally 10 HP away, one Soraka banana from dying. Maybe we can perk up those KDAs. But honestly, pretty clean early game. Choking Bifrost away from what they want to do. It seems like the Thalia is working wonders for a lot of teams today. JDXL fell to it. Bifrost fell to it. It feels like teams don't have good enough answers for the champion so far.
You know, and Bifrost put up some good attempts. There was some good ganks, there was some good defensive plays, but it wasn't enough. And X7 proved too strong with too much of a gold lead. And they find themselves with their 11th win of the season. What a turnaround it has been. But for more on this game, we have got the desk who have got interesting thoughts to share with all of you.
Nah, interesting thoughts. Nah, you got it wrong, man. You got it wrong. Welcome back to the desk. And this was a back and forth game throughout the entirety of this duration. Until one specific moment. We saw a dive on the bot lane, a 5v3 that wasn't clean, but was still doable, that unlocked the game. And let's talk about that one as we show the replay. I believe we have that one specifically. Let's start up this one hot.
Yeah,
This is the one, yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of see Bifrost, I'm not going to say outright winning, but kind of getting away with murder, being able to walk out for so long. But it's really the teleport from Chasey which kind of starts to make the difference, because now they can really start to fully commit. The Mega Knight ultimate comes in, and from there, the rest of X7 are kind of able to just pounce underneath the tower. Now, I will give Bifrost a whole bunch of credit for surviving as long as they did. I think Highway as well did an excellent job at just pressing his R key on Odie and keeping him alive. But realistically, from this point, I'm not saying it was necessarily over, but I think when you unlock the map and you gain so much gold off of one individual play in the mid game, where you have a composition that wants to, you know, heavily play off of a spike from sort of like 14 to 20 minutes, that's the kind of play you need. That's the kind of play that you end up getting. And for Bifrost, it just felt like there wasn't really too much they could do other than wait to try and meet some kind of item parity, but being so far down, it just felt like it was a bit too hard.
And I want to understand this more obvious. Tell me, what does this play allow them to do? They got the gold, yeah, but why was this play so important for X7?
Once they have this lead, it's really easy for them to be the ones who distribute the vision, control the vision game. Once they have the setup at an objective, for example, the Dragon, it's just impossible for the Bifrost composition to walk in. They don't have any chances to flank because X7 has all the pushes. They don't have any chances at just running straight in because there's a Talia. Like Trouble mentioned, this champion is incredibly hard to deal with if all you have is just running at your opponent. It's incredibly rough. So they had no real chance. And what I really loved from X7 this game is that they didn't play completely clean, but they had good ideas throughout the entire game. And that's what gives me so much hope for this lineup. And that's what you want to see. Like, this is a star-studded lineup if I've ever seen one in NLC. Like Kasing, Attila, Viking, and then you have the 2 Koreans who are crazy good. So that's exactly what you want to see from this lineup is clean macro, like good ideas, and then executing on them. This is exactly what we didn't see from, what's it called? From Astralis last game, is that they just fell over. Like they made one misplay, just like they did here, like X7 did here. But X7 was just right back on it. Top dive. Let's go, guys. We have a new plan. I really love that.
Team with Viking, and with the Viking sort of mentality right now, Jamada, do you believe this team could go into second seed and even maybe win the entirety of playoffs?
I think there's a valid argument for it. Yeah, I think that X7 have always had the talent on paper, right? And no one was ever doubting that. When everybody saw the X7 rush at the start split, everyone was like, well, just end the race here. I guess they're just going to finish first. This is going to be about a battle for second place, right? Obviously, things didn't immediately pan out the way that, you know, we as viewers wanted them to, or like supporters of the NLC region wanted it to. But now with Viking in the lineup, it seems like they've definitely come to a bit more of an agreement on how they want to play the game. And it's working wonders for them. So going all the way through the gauntlet, if they don't end up, you know, in the top 2, I think is also very possible. But if they make it into that top 2 spot, I wouldn't be surprised to see them in finals.
Okay, let's talk with Viking to understand more about what happened on this game. Welcome back to the interview. I got you, man. The king from the jungle so far. I'll let you know about that one. And, I mean, you're undefeated on Summer Split. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, blessed with good teammates and good people around. So, yeah, I'm happy.
Okay, it seems like a different setup. I'm looking into the setup. I don't usually see that one. Okay.
I'm in Sweden now. I'm in Sweden. I have my own house here. So
okay. I saw a lot of photos as well. Everybody's taking photos with you. You seem like you're popping off, I would say. Was this a preview of what we might see in playoffs? Not only X7 versus Bifrost, but that X7 that doesn't stop no matter what.
I think we look to improve even further and look stronger in playoffs. That's what I think, but can go either way, right? But that's what I think.
The objective is realistically to go to second seed. There's still a window for you guys to go to second seed. Are you even worried about that? Because I don't think you are.
For me, I mean, when I joined this roster, it was 6-6, right? And we just need to see how it works, and it's working well as I'm 5-0, right? And versus the upper bracket of the NLC, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, we are just, for me, I was like, we can't probably get first place, right? Because the team is 6-6, right? But I just want to win every game and then just be in playoffs. And I knew we were going to be in playoffs, you know, so I'm just waiting for playoffs the entire time I've been playing, right? Just want to win every game.
Viking, I'm going to go fishing. Let's see if I can bite anything. So scrims have been going good for you guys, right?
Yeah, I mean, some days we have been bad. I mean, I've had, what's called, yesterday I could only sleep 3-4 hours because my brother came home drunk and woke me up. I was real tilted and I could not sleep otherwise, but sometimes this happens. But I was flaming pretty hard, but yeah, I mean, otherwise than that, I think it's go fine. Like, not great, but I think the officials has gone great, you know, but we'll see. I hope more consistent.
It seems like X7 is putting their feet on EU Masters right now. If you could say, like, how do you feel about fighting LFL? What do you believe are your chances? You think I should have my hopes up?
Yeah, I think you should have your hopes up, yeah. I think so. I mean, I think LFL is strong as usual, but yeah, I think we can be a really strong team at EU Masters.
I'm believing you, man. I'm believing in you, Viking. Okay, thank you so much for the interview. Go sleep a little. Go sleep a little. Enjoy the rest, man. You deserve it.
Thank you,
Undefeated King. Have a nice one. I'll see you soon.
Have a nice night. Bye. Bye-bye.
I love it, man. He's honest. He doesn't care. I love the honesty, man. And,
Straight to the point.
Straight to the point. Okay, I know you were farming those points on Twitter back in the day, but do we have those shots versus LFL? That is a big question right now.
I don't know. I will say I'm definitely very worried. I haven't actually followed too much LFL this split. I've had quite a few other leagues to kind of worry about over the course of the summer.
LPL, LEC.
You know, it's hard to keep up with like the amount of League of Legends that goes on during your average split. But I definitely will say I think some of the inconsistencies of our teams definitely do worry me. Obviously,
be punished.
it's very easy to punish that. I think so far, obviously, seeing X7 look consistent with Viking in is a very big positive. But it's about keeping that consistency, even in the losses, because eventually they are going to lose. You can't just, there is no such thing as not losing when it comes to competitive play. Like even the most storied and famous rosters in League of Legends eventually did lose games. It's just about how they actually do bounce back from those losses on stage and how, adaptable the team can be, because it does definitely seem like, with Viking in the roster, they're more able to play through the lanes a little more, which was always, I feel like, the problem when they had MC in. It's like, okay, MC is a high economy jungler, but they also have high economy lanes. It's just a clash of ideologies. Which just didn't seem to end up working out. But with Viking, he's a little more flexible. You can play him as a carry, but he's also very capable of just, saying, okay, I don't need gold. I'll take 5 jungle camps in 20 minutes, and then I'll just gank every lane, and it's working for now.
Seems like it's working for X7, but you brought in a topic that was the idea that you cannot win every single time. You have to face a defeat. And that's exactly what this new mentality of Bifrost went through right now with X7. So that's why we're going to talk with Diamondprox, the jungler as well. Welcome back to the show. And okay, that was a defeat, Diamondprox. But the thing is, if it was any other team, in my opinion, the team would fall over way faster than you guys did. There was no stopping you. They got a big lead, and you never stopped. It seems like a new mentality for Bifrost. What is happening?
I think it's our old mentality, just we got better at playing the game, so we can stall out more. It's actually a weird coincidence that whenever I book the interview, then we lose. Maybe I should stop.
Oh no. Diamond, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. Okay, we need to find a solution for this one. We need to find a solution. Because it seems like you guys are still doing good. What do you believe was the tipping scale that allowed X7 to play the game that they did?
I think they just outperformed us. Maybe they had a slightly better draft, I would say, at least in my opinion, and they also played kind of good. They got caught a couple of times, but we didn't manage to get a lot out of it, and then we lost a crucial fight on the Herald, which I think is just like if we wouldn't flip the fight on the Herald, probably I wouldn't say we would win, but we would have much more chances. But after flipping the fight on Herald, like it was pretty hard to play.
I would say right now Bifrost is a menacing team to play against, but X7 are looking to steal away that second seed, which means eventually JDXL could be kicked out of the top 2, meaning they would be 3rd seed. What are you more worried about, or you don't want to face? Do you prefer to face JDXL on the lower bracket or X7 on the best of 5?
I think JDXL are a little bit easier.
Okay, why is that?
I think they have a lot of troubles coming to the end of the split, and I don't think they will resolve them in a short time, as X7 already kinda look like they resolved most of their issues and they know how to play the game now. So I think X7 just a better team right now.
My question to you to wrap it up is, do you believe Bifrost right now is a better best of 5 team, or do you guys believe that the best of 1 is good for you?
I think we're definitely a better best of 5 team than best of 1, because we're constantly making some weird decisions in drafts.
Weird decisions. Okay, I like the way you put it. Interesting take. And well, thank you so much for this interview, Diamondprox. It's always a pleasure. And I mean, send in Fury. Send in someone else. Let's just test the water, okay? Let's just see how it goes, okay? Have a nice one.
Just rewrite the script, please. Put in the script that Bifrost wins everything, and then I come every interview, and it's fine, all right?
It's good. I'll talk with the producer. Change
thank you.
Okay, change the script, guys. Thank you so much, Diamond. Have a nice one. Best of luck. I'll see you soon. It's always good to talk with Diamond. And you as a boomer, as you said it before, it's really good to talk with him, right? Like,
Awesome.
it's a different
see him.
setup. But it seems like Bifrost is a new team with the old mentality, right?
But I really like what Diamond said here, that they change up their draft all the time. I feel like that's their strength. That they're probably one of the most, if not the most versatile team we have right now in terms of the draft. Like, they could play most things in every lane. Like, Diamond is definitely willing to do whatever. Fury can play whatever. Odie can play whatever. You see them going for the Senna here. I can imagine on Wednesday they go completely the other way, and that's why I feel like in a best of 5 they could be a lot more scary than teams might expect.
I will say that. And my question to you, Jamara, is if this was a best of 2, like those old game scenarios, and we got those new rules where you are forced to pick new champions, that it seems like it's being implemented on other leagues, would the league be way different right now? That is a curveball for you, man.
It's a big question. Like, yeah, it's definitely a little out there. I think, yes, if you have a best of 2 scenario, it's always going to kind of change up how things are. I think for a team like Bifrost, yeah, definitely it would change how they kind of operate. They are a very versatile team, yes. And I think in a fearless mode, they'll probably do, because that's what you're referring to, the fearless mode, they'll do fine.
Let's see. But let's look into the standings as we're approaching the last game of the day. But before that, how are we doing? Bifrost 9 and 8. X7 are walking their way, stairway to heaven, I would say, ever since Viking joined in, regardless if he sleeps or not. 11 and 6 right now, and this is gonna happen again. I see the future. It's not even on the script. X7 is going to do it again like they did on Spring Split. They're going to kick away JDXL from top 2, send in JDXL into 3rd place. They're going to pick Riddle. It's the curse, man. I know it's a curse.
I'm a firm believer. I'm a firm believer. You're preaching to the choir right now for sure. Like, that's exactly what I'm expecting to happen.
Oh, no.
And I would be happy for that to happen too.
You would be happy?
Actually, no, I wouldn't, because I want to see more of X7. So let them go to the lower bracket. More games.
To get more games out of X7.
Because this is the team. Like, you look at this lineup, star-studded. I want to see them get a ton of games in, so that when they come into EU Masters,
they're fresh to go.
Yeah,
muy bueno.
Yeah, muy bueno.
This is actually a pretty good point, because we had something similar happen last year with Fnatic Rising, when they brought Dior in their summer split. Because Febvin retired, I think, right before the regular split ended. They had to pick up a new rookie. And they ended up, I think, not only going for the lower bracket very briefly, but they also ended up having to go into play-ins at the same time. Or I think actually, no, they lost the upper bracket final, then they went into lower bracket, and then they lost the final. They had to go through play-ins, but all of that additional time actually gave them the opportunity to mold with their new mid laner. And obviously X7 at the moment seem like, they're pretty on point with Viking, so maybe extra games aren't necessary, but if they do end up in the lower bracket, that's a significant amount of extra series that you have to play, right? It's 4 to get to finals, I think. So, I think maybe in a weird way, it might benefit them to not actually finish in the top 2, as weird as that sounds, just because it gives them more time to add to their repertoire of how they're actually going to play with Viking, even though they already seem like they've got a working formula.
And if they do get into the lower bracket, it means they're going